Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hey YouTube. Hey you guys, my subscribers. Thank you guys. First off, I want to thank you guys for supporting me. The people that do support me on this channel, I want to thank you guys for supporting me because I don't really thank you guys enough. I should thank you guys in every question. Every video. I'm sorry. I should thank you guys in every video, but I feel like I don't do that enough. So I just want to thank you guys, the ones who support me. I thank you for supporting me. If you guys tell other people about me, I thank you guys for that as well. As promised, I'm gonna be bringing you a story time about when I was fired. Now, I think it was Wednesday. I uploaded a video about my shoulder popping out of its socket. Was it Wednesday? Gotta give it some thought. What's today? Thursday. Oh, it was Tuesday. I brought you guys the video about me popping my arm out of my socket, and I told you guys that I was working at this daycare center when my arm popped out for the third time, and that's where I got fired from. Now, back then when I was working, I was 15 years old. I had just turned 15 in that May, and in that July, that's when I started working at the place. So, as usual, I would get up for work, go to the workplace around like 8:30, because my mom had to be to work at like 8:30, 8:45, so she had to drop me off by like 8:15, 8:30, or I would have to walk. So if I walked, then I would probably get there around like 8:50-ish and have 10 minutes to check in. But if I got a ride, I would have to get there earlier, like 8:15 or 8:30. So this particular day, actually no, let me start with the story first. Well, you guys already heard the story about how I was running around and I fell and I slipped and popped my arm out of the socket for the third time. So when that happened, because my shoulder was out of the socket, I couldn't really do much. So I didn't come back to the job for a couple days. I took like that, I think I popped it out like on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I took like 2 days off after that because I needed to heal and make sure I could move around a little bit. So I came back to the job, and yeah, it must have been that Monday that I came back, because I think I popped it out on a Tuesday, because I know I took off like a Wednesday and a Thursday or something like that. And Friday I didn't have work because I think when you have a part-time job when you're under 18, you can only work like 16 hours in a week, I believe. So yeah, I didn't have work on Friday. So I came back that Monday, and I came back, my shoulder was still in like a little sling, but I could like help do like little activities, like maybe cut out shapes or yeah, shapes for the kids, for them to like do the little projects or whatever. So this particular day we did a painting project. Well, I didn't paint, of course, but like the kids painted. So mind you, these kids are like 3, the youngest kids like 3, the oldest kids like 5, so they're like really young kids. So I was helping this one little girl. I remember, oh, I shouldn't say her name. She had a pretty name though. It was a unique name, but I'm not gonna say her name. Like I don't want people to like know who these people are or whatever. So I was helping this little girl wash blue paint off her hand, I remember. And my boss, who actually did not even work at the daycare center, he was just in charge of the UVSO job program, but he wasn't even my boss. Anyway, well, he was my boss, but he was like my boss's boss. He wasn't really my boss, but I guess you could say he was the head boss. So I was helping this little girl wash blue paint off her hand, and like I had to take her to the little kitty bathroom that they had inside the classroom, and she's at the sink. She's literally 3 years old, just learning how to do stuff, so she doesn't know how to do anything by herself. So I'm in there trying to help her, and the head boss comes in, and he's like, "Oh, where's your ID? Where's your ID? Where's your ID?" Asking everybody where their ID is. Like, everybody who like is a daycare teacher's assistant, basically, where their IDs is at. And I told him I didn't have my ID because I forgot it when I was getting my arm, my sling together or whatever. I left it on the table at my house. So he was like, "Go home." I was like, "This is ridiculous. Like, it don't make no sense." So I had to literally, sorry, I'm clapping. Literally leave the girl there. Little girl, 3-year-old little girl at the sink with blue Crayola paint on her hand, just for me to go home. Like, and then I don't know if he expected me to go home and get the ID and come back, because I was of all, to walk to my job and walk back home, that's a 40-minute walk there and a 40-minute walk back. That's a total. Total walk. That's a total amount of 80 minutes I had to walk out of my day, and I would have had to walk. Wait, I'm bad at math. I think I would have had to walk 120 minutes that day just to go to work and back. No. So I said, this is ridiculous. It's unnecessary or whatever. And he was like, well, I'm going to call you since it's so ridiculous. And so I'm like, what? So I'm on the phone with my mom telling her about the situation. She like, just ignore it, or whatever the case is. So I go home and I decide I'm not going to work the next day. I'm going to go back to work when he called me, since he want to get all snooty or whatever. And so, okay. So then that next day I didn't go to work. But the day after that, I went back to work. And and mind you, I still had this thing on, like my arm was still messed up, like, so I still got up and I still went back to work. And that particular day, I got there very early. I got there like 8 o'clock because my mom had to be to work very early that day. So she had to drop me off at 8 and go straight to work. So I get to my job place and they're like, why are you here? I think to myself, what do you mean, why am I here? This is my job. Like, what do you mean? And so I'm asking people, like, why is people asking me, why am I here? And then they said, oh, he fired you. I was like, what? He fired me? First of all, he didn't even call me. He didn't say nothing. But here's the catcher. They said that he had a meeting. He had a meeting about me, without me, and told everybody the whole situation, a meeting with everybody that was in the UVSO organization who was working, like we were all like, what, 14 to 17, so a whole group of kids he had a meeting with, and probably some adults too, and told them about me, without me, and didn't call me, didn't hit me up or nothing. I'm sorry, I'm so angry, but that was just ridiculous. So I'm like, oh really? I'm like, he didn't have the nerve to call me, but he had a meeting about me in front of everybody? And he gonna tell everybody I'm fired? So I was like, okay. Mind you, I was so dedicated to my job. Yes, I took off those 2 days after my shoulder came out. And yes, I took off that day after he said he gonna call me since it's so ridiculous. But every day besides that, I've been there on time. I always worked hard. I did what I need to do. I did extra stuff that I didn't even have to do that I did. I made sure that the kids had different games to play instead of just sitting around and doing the same thing all day. I actually was doing my job well. And this guy's gonna have a nerve to fire me and have a meeting about me without me and not even tell me I'm fired. So you having me come to my job, not even telling me I'm fired? Like, really? Okay. So I marched my behind right up to UVSO, the UVSO headquarters, I guess, where everything takes place. And it's only about 5-ish minute walk to get to the UVSO place. So I go inside the UVSO place and I walk right up to him. He over there playing pool with some little kids. And I'm like, why am I fired? He like, it's good morning, Mr. Bleak. I'm going to say Bleak because I don't want you guys to know his name. But he said, it's good morning, Mr. Bleak. Not why am I fired? So I was like, good morning. Why am I fired? So then that's when he took me into this little side room, I guess, so people couldn't hear what was going on. But I made sure they knew. I know everybody in there knew what was happening. So I asked him again. I was like, once we got in the little side room, I was like, why am I fired? What did I do? And he was like, you don't remember what you did? You were being disrespectful. Do you talk to your parents like that? Do you tell your parents that's ridiculous? I was like, first of all, of course I don't speak to my parents like that. I spoke to you like that because you were being irrational. And instead of asking or like just letting me get away with one day, you had to be a jerk about it. And then on top of that, you gonna have a meeting about me and not even tell me and not even tell me that I'm fired. You said you was gonna call me. What happened to that? You ain't call me though, right? Right? And then I was like, first of all, I walk here 40 minutes every single day to get to work on time, and I walk 40 minutes back home. And on top of that, my shoulder came out on the job, and I'm still here. But other people, they get injured, and they don't show back up to their jobs for a long time. But I decided to come back because I knew that I was really dedicated to working with these little kids, and I really like this job. And you really gonna fire me because I said it's ridiculous when you were actually being ridiculous? Like, so I'm I'm going off on a man or whatever, and I'm sure everybody in there heard like what was being said. So at the end, I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm going to come tomorrow and I'm going to get my check, and I'm not coming back here. I will not be here ever again. I don't need this. Like, I'm not pressed for this money, but you really just being ridiculous. Like how you going, like, anyway. So, I was like, forget this ID. I threw it on the floor, and he was like, don't throw away the ID. I was like, don't ever put your hands on me again, because he tried to touch my shoulder. I was like, don't ever put your hands on me again. Goodbye. And I walked right out of that UVSO place. I went off on him, and I called my mom, and I told her. Oh, matter of fact, I forgot. When I was walking to the UVSO place, I was also on the phone with my mom, telling her about the situation and how upset I was and how I was about to go off on him. And she was like, yeah, you have a right to, da-da-da. So after I went off on him and left out of the UVSO place, I also called my mom back. We was on the phone the whole 40 minutes of me walking, storming back to my house, because I was heated. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, I was heated beyond measures. Like, I was like, really? This guy really? So anyway, so the next day, I come and I get my check, and then he trying to act all like nothing happened, trying to, you know how like when your teachers be acting crazy when your parents not there, but then when your parents get there, they want to act like they all nice and they sweet and all. That's how he was trying to act, and I'm like, really? Like, you just don't want my parents to curse you out because you know you wrong, like. And so my parents didn't curse him out or whatever, because they knew I handled it. They said I handled it well, and that I was supposed to do that. Normally they wouldn't be okay with me like going off on an adult or nothing like that, but he deserved that one. So they were like, oh, I deserved it or whatever. And I think my father was like really mad at him, because a man is mistreating his daughter. Of course he's gonna be mad, naturally. But he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything to the man. My parents didn't go off on the man or anything. So after that, I took my check and I walked out. And I never went back to that place again, ever. I drive past it all the time, but I never went back to that place, because I'm not being pressed for no $280 like every 2 weeks. When actually I didn't even get my check until 4 weeks passed. Everybody got their check in the first 2 weeks, and I didn't get my check till 4 weeks passed. So first of all, and I don't even think I got all my money, because I only got like 100 and some change. And when you think about it, 4 times 280 something is not 180 something. So no, I didn't get the amount I was supposed to get. But that's besides the point. But my thing is, like, if you feel like you're being treated unfair or whatever, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, because at the end of the day, yeah, the results may not be changed, but you can let people know how you feel and let them know that you're not the one to be messed with or whatever the case is. Don't ever feel like you gotta sit back and just let people treat you the way they want to treat you, adult or not. And if you're young and you don't think you can stand up for yourself, as a kid, always tell your parents, or tell a guardian or somebody that can stand up for you, because don't ever let anybody mistreat you, talk about you, or make you feel like you're nothing or whatever the case is. And that doesn't just go for like the situation that I went through. That could go for anything. Like, if you feel like you've been mistreated, don't ever let that get you down. Don't ever let nobody mistreat you or take advantage of you or just treat you any type of way just because they think they can, or just because they're an adult and you're a kid and they think you're supposed to take it. Like I said, if you're younger, then I would say have an adult, your parent preferably, or your guardian that takes care of you, say something. Yeah, I mean, now I could probably say something because I'm about to be 18, but yeah, if I was younger or whatever and I was being mistreated by an adult besides that situation, I probably wouldn't say anything. I would say something to my mom and have her handle it. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to tell you guys. It was a little story time. I know I stayed angry in the story time because my emotions was coming back up, because I was just thinking about how I felt. Like, I was more heated than I was more heated then than I was like telling the story and what I said to him. But yeah, I'm not upset about it now. I could care less. But I do need another job. Like, I need some bread coming in. Yes, I do. But it's alright though. Yeah, it was just a little story time. And feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and everything. And I'll see you guys later. It's Naturally Jam, and I'm out.